Hey everybody, hope you're having a great week. I'm really excited. Like I mentioned, we had a great event last night. So with a couple of campuses in our church, we partnered with some churches in the community, FCA's, and some other groups, and like they were able to put those rallies on. Over 800 kids coming through, getting to hear the gospel, lives changed. It's really exciting, and obviously that's the most important thing. That's why we do what we do. That's why we developed the program and continue to work on it, work through the kinks, listen to y'all because we want to help you reach students for Christ. And now, with that, and again, with all the life change that happened last night, this part almost feels trivial, but it was, there were some eye-opening things for me. So I've made some tweaks to the program, added some things that I hope we're going to, one, finally square away some things I know we've continued to try and get right for you. But also things that I think are going to make this program more useful for you, as far as really sitting down and being intentional about where are my kids and where do I want them to be. So first thing I want to show you real quick, just to get this out of the way. Last night when we took attendance, we did it through the planner. We just pre-created the event that morning. Leaders could hop on, hit that check mark, and do check-in for us of new kids. And so every new kid that came in, we registered them. They got checked into the event, and we were good to go. I did notice one little thing that was causing sometimes new kids that got registered through the attendance pages, be it the planner or the attendance page, not to actually get checked in as present. They're adding into the system, but they might not get checked in as present. Squared that away. So those new kids, like when you register a new visitor through the door, they automatically get added to the event as present, marked present, so you don't have to go in and check them in for attendance too. The other thing that I tweaked, so if you want to keep using the attendance page, I know some of you, for whatever reason, you're bivocational, or it's just Wednesdays are crazy, or Sunday mornings are crazy, you just want to be able to hop in and start taking attendance. So I changed this up a little bit. When you come in here, you've either got to create the event, so you just hit the name and hit create event, or let's say I'm a leader, I can come in here and see that event you created, and I can just click on it, and then I sync to that event, and now I can start taking attendance. I know some of y'all prefer the roster view, so I can show all and do that, and search for who I need to do and check them in. So just wanting you to know that is there and good to go. Okay, so I had it to where, because again, a lot of y'all were talking about, I just need to take attendance, I need to do it fast. So I was making it create the event when you launch the page. What I learned last night was when leaders, we hadn't had a chance to train yet, they had just downloaded the app. We were going to have the meeting about 15 minutes later. They were just exploring the app, clicking on things, and it was creating events, and they didn't know how to sync to the event, so it was causing a mess. So hopefully that clears up some of the extra events y'all been hitting and some other things. Again, we still got the merge events option in case something happens. So there's that. The other thing, so this is some of the new stuff. I've been working and focusing on adding in some more reports for better data. So for example, let me go to students here, and I'm going to edit this kid. On the edit student screen, and I believe on the add student screen, I've added in the salvation button where you can mark that they're saved and when that date was. When did they make that life-changing decision? Because again, we want to see students come to Christ, right? And then you can actually go pull a report, and you can see how many of the students, what percentage of the students in your ministry know Christ, what percentage don't, when that happened. Download that report, pull it, look at it, and actually track that data. And so you can see that happen. And so that's one new thing. We've also got this historical attendance report. Now, mine's going to look a little funny because, again, this is just kind of a test thing where I create a lot of random events to kind of test what may be working or not. You can group this by student or groups. I'm going to do students. And what this will do is pull historical data of all the events and the date range that you set. Now, granted, depending on how many kids you have, how many events you have in that time frame, this could take around a minute or so to run. So if it's running a while, it's not frozen. It's working, I promise. Again, mine takes longer because, one, I got a lot of kids in there because I want to test if you're maxing this database out, what does it need to do. Plus, I also have a lot of events because I click the attendance screen a lot, trying to test and create things for you. But once this report runs, here's what it's going to do. It's going to show you all the events in the date range, number one. It's going to show you the attendance, so who was there and who wasn't for each event. It's going to show you total unique students that have come through your ministry in that range, but then also the attendance rate. So again, I create a lot of events, but I don't necessarily take attendance for them because I'm just testing things out. But it's going to allow you to see. So in that time frame, great, I had 47 kids, but guess what? That's less than 1% of the kids that could have showed up. So it takes the kids in your ministry and determines total how many could have showed up based on the number of events you had, and then how many actually did. Because, again, we can get excited about numbers, but we're not about numbers. To me, it's about data. And data is when you think about those numbers and what they actually mean. It's going, okay, great. We're growing. We have a lot of kids coming up. There's a lot of kids we're not reaching. Then you can come down here, got the students, the contact info, and you can actually scroll through here and see each event, how many students, what was the attendance rate, okay? Again, mine are 0 and weird percentages because of the way I test things. You can also download this whole table, big old table, as a CSV file. And so you can actually have that sit down with your staff team, your leadership team, your pastor, whatever, and show them that data of how other things are growing, what you're learning, or maybe even just see, hey, this event worked really well. What did we do? How did we get kids there? And what did we do once they were there? So that's another new report. Another one, or another new change, I guess. When you go in here and you filter students, okay, so remember you can filter your students. So let's say I just want to see my high schoolers. So I'm going to 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. All right. Got a lot of groups. So when I filter those students and it builds that filtered students report right here, you can download that to a CSV now. So you can create a really quick custom roster if you so choose. Okay, so that's there. One other, I guess, new thing, school data. So we've really been thinking about, again, not just the amount of kids we're reaching, but the amount of kids we're not, and what can we do to not just keep begging and pleading and strategizing to get kids to come to us, but what can we do to go out and reach those students? We've been partnering with some football coaches, some other groups, organizations, talking to principals, and really, again, trying to get out of those schools and really reach kids. So I built this new school data report. And so what this will do, when you launch the page every time, it's going to check and see all the schools in your ministry, and you can see we have a lot of schools, okay? Now, if you don't see a chart, the reason is because you haven't set the enrollment yet. But here's what I would encourage you to do. This isn't just about seeing the amount of schools in your area, and you can see we have a lot of schools. We're just east of Dallas. So what this is that you can go research, and so this is a fake number 100. But for this one, it's real. So I actually went and Googled Mesquite High School enrollment. That is public information, okay? Most of the private schools, they may not publish it, but I bet maybe you could go find it on a website. You could call a headmaster. I know you got a lot of homeschool students like we do. There are homeschool associations where you can call and probably figure out the amount of kids. And so this is what this allows me to do. And then again, these are just kind of general numbers. It counts how many kids go to that school in our ministry. And so I go, man, that's awesome, right? 113 kids, okay? I don't know that that's accurate because, again, I test and play with things. But 113 kids, that's exciting, okay? But look at that. There's 2,800 kids in that high school. Now, this is not meant to be discouraging or defeating. This isn't so I go, man, I stink. That's not what this is about. This is motivating to go, wow, we're doing some great work. But what if we could figure out a way to reach those other 2,700 kids? What kind of life changes happen? And then you start to think, well, my youth room is not going to hold them. Our sanctuary is not going to hold them. So what can we do? Do we need to get out and just do more small groups in the community? Do we need to hold events at football stadiums? Do we need to go to the parks? Do we just need to do relational stuff at events? Like, what do we need to do? Because, again, the goal is them coming to know Christ. Yes, ideally, they get plugged into the church, but at least as long as they're plugged into a Christian community, we can take that community to them. And so it's about having those kinds of conversations. So I don't want you to feel defeated, but I wanted a report where you can really look and see how are we doing at reaching our campuses and our schools, and what's that breakdown look. So that's something new. You're also going to start to see, hopefully by the end of the weekend, one other thing, these data summaries, and again, you can pull these from different places. I've already added in the total new students. Now this number is huge because we were playing with things yesterday, getting ready for the event and adding in visitors and just trying to make sure that it was going to run smooth. But anyway, sorry. You see that already. You're going to start to see more charts here where you can really see trends in your ministry, because again, I want to give you data that's helpful, not just for you to justify what you're doing so people will continue to donate and give to your ministry, to volunteer, but also so you can think about and celebrate the life change that's happening, and then think about how much more life change can happen. So I encourage you to check out some of those reports. If you see any issues, as always, let me know. If you've got other ideas for reports that you think would be good, we want to continue to build that section and see lives change and see your ministry grow.